Hello everybody, it's Dr. Steve in the rain here at Perrin Park in Jeffersonville. I want to tell you about how to recover from acute injuries. I recently took a spill on my mountain bike, fell off my bike. My shoulder separated a little bit. I felt a little crack or a little sound, and I believe I torn my AC ligament. I was in a sling for about 4 days, couldn't really move too well. What I did immediately, and what you should always do immediately if you have an accident like this or an injury, is immediately ice as much as possible for as long as possible. The first 72 hours is the inflammatory stage where you must ice that stuff down. That way you won't get arthritis and scar tissue built up to near the degree later on down the road. A year from this injury, if I hadn't done that icing, that first 72 hours, I would have a lot more adhesions and scar tissue in that shoulder. So that's number one. Ice, ice, ice. The other thing is I swallowed a lot of proteolytic enzymes. I didn't have time to order what I normally order from Metagenics, which is Biozyme, but I was able to find Wobenzyme at our neighborhood health food store, and I took 10 the first time. I took like 10 at a time for the first 24 hours, because what the enzymes do, and you have to take them on an empty stomach because they digest proteins, and they help basically drain the inflammatory chemicals out of the area. They're good for swelling and bruising and things like this. Boxers, the studies done with these enzymes, they used to use them on boxers in the 50s before aspirin became, the big thing to use. Half the time, they would heal cuts, bruises, and sprains, strains, and injuries in half the time. So these proteolytic enzymes basically like drain the bucket of inflammation out of your body. So very, very important to use and have in your medicine cabinet just in case you've come across an injury of some kind. So anyway, for about a week straight, I took these enzymes constantly on an empty stomach, 30 minutes before a meal or about an hour and a half after a meal. So ice and enzymes, and then the last thing is centration. I did not allow myself to get back up into a shrugged shoulder like this. You see that? A shrugged shoulder is a protective zone. I kept my shoulder centrated. Centrated means the joint is perfectly aligned in the socket. The ball and socket are perfectly aligned. So I can put maximum force through that joint without injury. That's what centration means. So if my spine is centrated, everything's stacked perfectly on top of each other. So when gravity comes through, there's no, if I was like this, if my spine was like this too much and my belly was sticking out, then that lack of centration causes overload on the ligaments and causes damage. So centration is what I'm talking about. You just got to stay centrated, so while you're healing and while your tissues are repairing, it repairs in the centrated state, in the best postural position. So those are three things to focus on whenever you have any kind of injury: is watch the compensation, right? Stay centrated, ice, and enzymes. Do it, and let me know what you think about this. And if you have any other questions, post them down below.